I think the biggest issue was, unfortunately, the draft for MKOI. They just really couldn't find ways in, and I agree with the desk in that regard. It was just very difficult to make plays happen. So for MKOI, now coming onto the blue side, we'll have to see if they have a bit more control coming into this one. A lot of top lane focus still on towards Canna, who did very well in the Rumble in the last games. Maybe MKOI can find some way to keep him in check this time around.
Jace is an interesting one. Up against Canna, though, I do understand it completely when that is like his best champion through and through. Canna last game, well-rounded on that Rumble. Had a good early game as well. And the question is it going to be a Trundle ban again? Yes, it is on blue side. Does this open up anything?
So Gwen still gone. So Wukong, Pantheon, Taliyah still there as well. Taliyah, yeah, there it is. Going to be first taken. I think you're pretty happy with it because you still have the opportunity if you want to. Like Pantheon is still relatively good on the patch.
Yep.
And you can use those double globals if you want to on MKOI side. And you kind of see in the last game they were doing a decent job when they had moments of playing towards side lanes, getting Jojopyun into a position where he was strong. It was just there wasn't a way for them to try and utilize that as effectively as they would have liked to. Maybe they can go for something similar in this time around if they can try and play for this double ultimate.
Meanwhile, Sion with Pantheon could be the options then. Then you add that global and that ability to just engage is built up. Also, side note, Orianna as well.
Yeah, it could be a Xin Zhao angle here, just to guarantee yourself a strong early game.
True.
And then take the Orianna on that third rotation for Vladi. And then you've got strong mid jungle because you're able to enable the Xin Zhao. You've got good scaling coming through with the Sion as well. Yeah, and I think you're in a decent bot, but Annie's still fine. You can still try and play for the setup in team fights.
Maybe they're just like, look, Pantheon's Xin both up and available. We handshake, you get one, we get the other, right? Like, what does Elyoya feel more comfortable in? He's had insane games. He's going to go for the Poppy instead. So, not as much about that skirmishing, but definitely... I mean, actually, Poppy's skirmishing is not that bad, is it?
No, she's strong in the early stages. Yeah. She's a lot of base damage. That does a lot. Ambessa, decent. We'll get a chance to scale against Sion and can be that backline access that you really want to. Again, I think you've kind of got options here. As KC, Wukong, Xin Zhao, I still think fine. Even though it isn't a Poppy, most of the champions that are the quote-unquote like meta junglers are going to struggle a little bit here. So I think you just go for either. Yeah, there it is, Xin Zhao. You just take the hit. And now you can even move on towards things like a Zyra Rakan in that last position for KC, and that sets you up a strong team fight, good self-peel for your AD carry, consistent DPS, and you've got ways for Rakan to bounce off of your frontliner in the Sion and Xin Zhao to start up fights for you.
True. I like that mention. Nautilus going to be taken away as well, and maybe that slide of Rakan comes in a little bit earlier. And then AD carry counter pick there as well. Either. Remember that Poppy can be a flex, as Zai is a good ban. And it's not often, like, we don't really see Poppy support that much here in LEC, but I feel like Elyoya's Poppy is that good that you're just kind of like, well, that's probably going jungle 99%.
I think it also is just good into all that was remaining in the jungle, so I like the early rotation of it. And Xin Zhao doesn't do so hard, Wukong struggles, even Jarvan, if you really want to go for it, Sejuani, like everything has a bad time, so it makes a lot of sense. Nico going to be the final ban for MKOI. I'm wondering how what KC are thinking here, because I thought you might try and go for something like the Ezreal and be like, cool, I'll get some heal for myself, but they've decided, hey, look, we have a very beefy front line, we have good CC coming through from our mid lane as well, let's just set up for this Jinx to be our constant DPS.
Do MKOI think, hey, we might need to go Blitzcrank here instead of something like the Rakan, because they could get at Lulu Jinx? I mean, no, I know it's rare, Dagda. I just want to float that idea because as MKOI are hovering right now.
So I thought we'd actually see MKOI go for the Sivir, because I think it enables a lot of their composition here with the speed up and can play towards fights and good scaling and bouncing to try and get in onto multiple members past just the Sion. Maybe we see it here. Otherwise, I'm a little bit unsure. Even though Sivir, though, is still going to struggle against the Jinx push. Aphelios has kind of been that traditional answer, but he was using the last one. Yeah. So we have to see what the plan is.
Like the Sivir mentioned, very popular now, and especially shredding that comes through. The scaling is nuts against, you know, a bruiser and a tank front line. KC don't have any big engage options that can hit in bot. I mean, I'm trying to think, Dagda, we've already had Alistar, we've got Rel, we've got Nautilus down, Nico's also away. This is what I was expecting. Yeah. You know, if the Blitzcrank wasn't picked, you have an Enchanter with a front to back.
And also good into Rakan. Rakan goes for the grand entrance. You whimsy the Rakan. He doesn't get that access anymore.
He turns into a seal.
Exactly. It's a bad all time. And the problem is you can't even get away at that point either. You're just kind of sat there. So, yeah, I think KC, very clear, kind of regular front to back team fight, big DPS the late game, great CC from your mid lane, strong mid jungle as well, very kind of by the book League of Legends, I'll say. Whereas on MKOI side, you've got a lot of still good team fighting, but really good side lane as well with the Ambessa and the Taliyah being able to control a lot of that space, and good opportunities to just dive on towards potential plays in the mid game, especially if this the Jinx ends up isolated at any point in time. You can very quickly ruin her day underneath the tower.
I'm excited because MCOY got to get the ball rolling a little bit then if they play towards those side lanes. As a quick reminder, MCOY, your first seed coming out of spring. If you didn't watch yesterday versus Giant X, you'd see a 2-1, but you'd see a series in the depth of it where Giant X should have had it out. And MKOI got away with murder a bit yesterday. Today against KC, not so much. A much better team, obviously, and I think that's grand considering KC, what they've come through this year. They've come back with a vengeance in a split, and for the French squad, a 2-0 start is incredible. If they get the 3-0, they can be much like Fnatic, locked into playoffs, moving their way into a clean sweep. That's what's on the roster, right? And Dagda, I feel like KC right now could look like the best in this group. All they have to do is prove it. Running into the second game, let's find out. Let's find out if Lulu's return here from Targamas is going to give Caliste the delivery service he needs.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very good Lulu game. It's great with the Jinx, great into the matchup, very little threat from the back line. So I think she'll be in a fairly good spot. Even the opportunity to try and interrupt some of the setups from MKOI is going to be great. So overall, I like what KC are bringing, and it definitely feels more on MKOI to disrupt KC before they hit that late game position.
Now, a quick reminder as well, we were just talking about it, but obviously there's two groups in LEC Summer. I like the format because, you know, yeah, sure, teams don't face each other until playoffs and until we cross groups at the start of playoffs where third and fourth will have to fight their way through. But I do like that, again, every best of three matters, and you've heard it so many times on a broadcast, but like, this is KC and MKOI's group. Now, the winner of this series, arguably, is the best in the group. Giant X put a spanner into the works, but Vitality and Na'Vi really have to fight their way up and prove that they deserve to be in the conversation.
I will say, though, there is a bit of a caveat for me in both groups on G2 and MKOI. Only just coming back off of internationals, haven't had an awful lot of runway, let's say, into summer.
I like caveat.
So I think it's still a let's wait and see how they end up playing, because I definitely think both of these squads will ramp up more. G2 came in hot. MKOI obviously picking up the win yesterday as well, but I don't think this is exactly the final form that we'll see from them in a playoff.
I like that. I don't want to be disingenuous, Dagda, so that's a really good call out. As a quick invade from Yike, rather Elyoya. Yike's the one who wants his own jungle, but Elyoya went in, sprinted to blue fast. He started at Raptors and immediately at blue buff as the Blastcone's taken over. It's a smite battle won by Yike, so now Elyoya, his time is worrying. A flash available from both. Who burns at first? The biggest question is Jojo has to cover, but Elyoya's going to flash over the wall. All it takes is time. Match though. Audacious charge with the slow wind becomes lightning, and Elyoya gets away.
Thought that Yike was going to go, or sorry, for Elyoya was going to go for the step back when the wind becomes lightning came out, but Yike just barely missing out. Still though, gets control of his jungle, manages to get the steal, so we'll still have an advantage when it comes towards the faster clear, but heartbreaking, he couldn't quite get the kill.
Let's see if either flashes maybe in some of the skirmishes coming up can be punished, but you're right, because the clear came through. Yike just goes back to his Gromp. He's going to take that now. You see Wolves being taken, also Elyoya moving to the Gromp now too. Our eyes are on bot lane quickly as the Enchanter tries to play the range in lane, but Targamas so far getting bullied out a little bit by Supa and Alvaro.
Yeah, nothing too much apart from the early flashes burn to write home about. I think this is where we're going to continue to see them scaling into the game, especially on the KC side of things. But I mean, looking at the history over the last couple of series that these two teams have had, it has very much been we are going the distance for these two squads. MKOI has been able to pick up the last two series wins in those 5-game series coming through from spring, but this is still two teams that have gone toe-to-toe and every time have delivered absolute bangers. So I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if this doesn't go to the games.
If it doesn't, I'd be so sad as well, right? No, I know, like, it obviously goes past this as well, but for this year at least, our mid laners are a good representative of where the head-to-head sits, and usually it is, you know, other way around this game, by the way, but usually it is on Vladi's head, on KC's head when they do meet.
But it's also the fact that the kind of rivalry has changed. At the start, it was very KC focused, whereas now it is MKOI who's been leading the charge when it comes to this head-to-head, especially in those pivotal playoff series. So trying to see now if KC can get a little bit of revenge for the last few times, or if MKOI can actually bring us to this game 3 and find themselves firmly on that throne in the rivalry once again.
It must be a curse of being first in a regular season. A quick side note, lane swap, but my point is, like, first in winter, KC come back and, ooh, a little bit shaky, right, coming from an international, didn't manage to get into the finals, and then MKOI take out Spring. Then coming back from Spring, MKOI come back and they've had a shaky start to the split, and I like, again, your context of, yeah, you know, they've just come from double back-to-back international and now into a summer split. With a group format of best of 3. So it's just going to be a question if history does repeat. 2v2 kicks off yet again. Good polymorph here, but Alvaro's engaged. Does a bit of damage over to Caliste and Supa. Winning the health trade for sure here. He's able to step up. Boomerang Blade is a quick sidestep from Caliste. And the 2v2 does seem to be going at least health trades into Supa and Alvaro, but I think you'll find CS so far is actually kind of trending towards Caliste.
Yike making a move on towards the mid here. Jojo being very careful with
no mana. Invaded in, audacious charge used.
Yeah, not going to be too much. At least it sets up Vladi to finish this. Jojo doesn't really have the mana to finish off Vladi, so he's happy enough to just finish at the farm. But again, I think the main point of this push in the top side is that Supa gets the shove. You're forcing this reset from Caliste early, which means you're going to lose out on CS.
Yeah.
So already MKOI kind of putting a stamp on this lane with a nice engage from Alvaro when they weren't really able to set up with the Whimsy nice and early.
Kind of will catch this wave, but bot wave, it's the same story, isn't it? Kind of even misses one as bot. There should be a couple of minions denied from Caliste, so further to your point, 80 carries. Might actually start edging out a little bit towards Supa. Caliste misses the majority of the way, bar these two. And all right, Dragon's still sitting up. It's 6 minutes into the game. We're not getting action yet, but remember, again, we have scaling 80 carries. We're waiting for mid laners to get 6, which they are now, and junglers to be the same. You got an invade. That's like your sweet treat, you know, before you have dinner. But this, like, we're waiting. You know, we're waiting for the steak, the venison that we talked about a little bit earlier, Dagda. There's no animals in this one. The bird, you know.
Yike hovering here for Elyoya. We'll just end up spotting him out. If in this position, MKOI should just have the advantage to try and push through, as another engage is there.
Traps it down. Supa can't really step up, but good trade again. And an ignite from Alvaro, but he'll just move to heal.
Watch the mid-jungle of MKOI starting to move down on this bottom side.
What can they do, though? Alvaro thinking about another engage. Boomerang Blade out. There we go. Flash from Alvaro. He goes deep. He gets zapped as well. Alvaro, what the hell was that? Lethal tempo now for Caliste, and with an enchanter. Supa knows he's in trouble. A lethal tempo pulled up as Jojo tries to get the 80 carry, but flash from Caliste forward, and he's out of there. Targamas used the glitter lance to get the slow on Jojo, and he's got his flash ready, but will he have to use it? Elyoya came in for an angle himself, but now he runs. KC looking for a bit more fun. Tibbers is out. An audacious charge. That started with Alvaro going way too far.
Rare miscommunication from the MKOI bot lane. Alvaro went in. Supa had already started to walk back. There was no follow-up on the play, and it means that MKOI scrambled to try and save it, but only end up saving it in favor of KC.
Interesting. Maybe they just said, yeah, Jojo's coming down. Let's go. Timing not on board, Dagda.
Yeah. But I think that's exactly it. Like, if you watch the play here, as they end up going in, that's Supa stepping back. You get the engage coming through. They believe that they're going to have help coming from Jojo in the mid lane, but it's not enough. Now you end up with just this, the excited Jinx who can chase them down. Good flash here as well to make sure that you're in a position to get away from the Taliyah.
I flash W forward, okay. I thought you were coming. Can you help us, bot? I'm dead, bot, guys.
Yeah, so that's the comms, right? And it's always good for context. So I guess, you know, not putting fully the blame on Alvaro there, because Yike was the one who took half his health to stop Jojo from getting the ult in immediately. And that play looking good. As League of Legends for you. One moment it looks great, but unfortunately if it doesn't all time up, it looks bad. And it is a bad play in the end because for KC, a kill onto the Jinx now. 1.2k gold up with Herald starting, or rather the grubs that of as Yike running in. Maybe MCOY can get some gold back, but a Sion to charge in. Zone off Alvaro and Supa. Bopped away though. Nice from Elyoya. There's one, but Caliste has to walk it back into the river. MCOY is still not done.
Jojo still pushing on this bottom side. MCOY happy to disengage, give 2 grubs over, and they will get some nice damage onto the bottom side turret instead. KC managing to hold on and get the objective.
This MCOY are done with the top play, but you're right. Jojo's going to find himself a little bit in bot. TP burn from Canna to defend, and a bit of individual gold here for the mid laner again in the sides as KC find themselves something nice. 2 grubs here, and this comp is still no easy feat.
Dragon is still up and available. Alvaro very close to that level 6. Might be able to soak a little bit of the experience off this next wave if they want to, and maybe you can see MCOY try and fish for something, especially as the ultimates from, I suppose Jojo's will be back up, but actually with Elyoya's still off cooldown. Maybe KC actually may be the ones with Yike moving bot side that can look for the Dragon.
Let's just stepping up. Alvaro's taking a mighty chunk, and with Rectrix and Rika Bow, you can just see with an enchanter by his side, Caliste is having a great time. Just the power of Lulu. It's amazing what you do with an enchanter with a hyper carry that has range. He's KC, quick reminder, there's no first dragon here, but as Elyoya starts it up, there is a KC jungler down bot.
Yeah, I thought we'd have KC just hard push mid. You shift over with Yike able to come through and pick this one up, but because Elyoya doesn't have the ultimate, so KC still hovering, but I don't think they're in a position now to really push for this. Yeah, Supa and Alvaro, the ricocheting blades, getting a lot of work done in that mid lane to push the wave.
It's a nice objective to take. Mega Death Rocket will not be spell shielded, but Dragon goes down all the same, so good for MCOY. Decimating Smash is going to come through to clear the way from Canna. He gets threaded, volleyed a little bit. Jojo having a good time against the Sion on this side wave.
They're already setting up for replacement in this bottom side. Vladi moving down. He's going to be able to pick up the next wave. Canna, his ult is almost off cooldown, but he can just walk up into position on towards his top half. So for MCOY, like, nice pickup on the Dragon, using the fact that they had the pushing bot and mid. And now, I think it's just a case of trying to find ways to use this pushing mid to set up for some deeper vision and look for picks. You've got Jojo with this ultimate available. You've got really strong and quick engages thanks to the speed up from Supa to fish for some players that are out of position.
You can turn into a snap engage. Remember the combo with Myrwn as well. He does have some kind of setup with Seismic Shove, with Poppy finding a wall target as well. So MCOY just need to bring it together. They need to bring this comp together in this game too. Otherwise, it's just a Sion chilling in a side lane with a Jinx who's already nicely ahead at this point in the game.
I like the move from Vladi, just hovering in river. Might have actually snuck around in behind Supa. Should get spotted, I think, as he moves in behind here.
No stun, but he has that by just pulling a Molten Shield. Always super easy. Not sure if he was spotted. There is a ward there in the cheeky end of red, so it's probably just the tail end, the tip of getting caught.
You can see that this is the plan from KC, trying to alleviate the pressure Supa's creating on that mid lane. Because again, this is what we're saying. Play for the side that Jojo's on, push mid, get some vision, start to encroach that deeper and deeper, and just make it difficult for KC to really defend that top half of the map. But by having Vladi rotate mid, they can actually try and force Supa off and give Caliste time to clear out this wave. You can see how much longer it takes for the Jinx to clear out the wave in relation to the Sivir.
Bro wants this ward. Yike's not going to let him. Again, Targamas is a pain with the range as well. Elyoya looking for a potential dive. There's the flick back, and Elyoya now waiting for the damage. Jojo has plenty of it, and just giving a turret a wall. Ulti going to be burnt. Elyoya waiting, and the Butler doesn't get to finish the job. Canna gets out of there, but another exposed turret for Jojo. And this is just like game one. His Yone trailed ahead, finding himself alone in side lane. He's been given that chance again, and 600 gold is only the start.
Alvaro's trying to help Myrwn re-enter onto this tower. KC, too many members around. I think MCOY have to abort.
Yike makes it an easy trade for now. Myrwn dashes away, but remember, 2 grubs to 1, so it'll be slightly quicker here for KC, but it is Vladi instead of Caliste tackling the turret for now. Jojo also proxying top, so the longer this can be delayed, the more Myrwn can absorb in the wave, the better it is for MCOY, as Death Rocket's going to be launched, and it does find a target, but as Vladi brings out Tippers, this is what they want, the burst to come through. Flush away from Myrwn. Next wave coming in, and Myrwn defended for as long as possible, but now it just doesn't seem possible.
The ultimate from Vladi and Caliste sending Myrwn packing. The crucial part of that, though, is Myrwn actually got to collect a large portion of the wave, whereas Canna never got to. Myrwn can also, well, he's just sticking around, but can TP around the map as he needs to as well to start soaking up more of these waves. You're seeing that little bit of an experience lead open up for the MKOI top laner alongside that goal.
The CS lead as well, 30 is about there. With Eclipse as well, Ambessa really feels like a champion, having the cooldown plus the shield bash. Alvaro's coming up, but Canna's fine as a tank. He doesn't have his ulti available, but he's still got flash if he gets caught out. The biggest thing right now is that, you know, you talk about those leads, Jojo is 30 CS up his lane counterpart and keeps finding himself in this Sion lane. Like, imagine being Sion versus a Taliyah that already has their first item and that you can never step up to. That's not game. That's not gameplay. You just don't get to play. That's rubbish.
Yeah, especially because it's the focus from MKOI. Move up here, get top tower, which opens up Jojo to push top and move into mid. Alvaro finds Targamas.
Operation Bully Canna turns into finding Targamas. You're right, with the Weaver's Wall down as well. Jojo on the right side of it as Yike has to flash away. The disengage there, but with the TP, MKOI are looking to snap, maybe look at the target, but KC are in numbers strong. That was Vladi, and maybe with the TP in, Myrwn's the one inting. Let's turn it about. The top laner from MKOI gets support here, and Alvaro tries to salvage a play, but into a decimating smash. MKOI ran into a disaster. Canna flashes over the wall as Sap doesn't connect because Alvaro's life might have been forfeit. They get away, but Myrwn's dead, and all they can say is that Supa was taking down mid.
I like the idea initially from MKOI, but they go too far now.
Elyoya, the trap's behind, the ulti flashed away from Yike, goes over stones though. His ulti saves his life somehow. It's a circle of happiness, the flash! Jojo almost will look bloody behind enemy line. He's between Jojo's been hit, Elyoya and Alvaro as well. Meanwhile, Supa's flashing into Targamas, and he'll get a kill. Bloody, he's gonna die as well. We've gone from nothing to everything, and Supa gets a double. What the bloody hell, League of Legends, are we watching here?
That started off so well for KC, and then it's so badly for KC. MKOI overextend on the initial play, and then MKOI think, oh, well, we can just bully our way through here, but end up so separated. That KC then end up so separated that MKOI have to find the picks, they get top tower, they get the Rift Herald, and Supa flashing in is able to get a ton of gold off the back of it as well.
MKOI up 2,000 gold. Let's watch again from which point, I wonder.
So I like this initial play. This is what I was talking about. Play 4 picks off of the fact you have push mid and push top. It ends up going that bit too far though because of where Myrwn TPs. MKOI need to escape. They can't reconnect. And it's this decimating smash that really causes issues. Not once, but twice in this fight. The CC comes down. Alvaro goes in, seeing that Myrwn was already polymorphed, which means that then Alvaro can try and get out. But the decimating smash just sets up then perfectly for the kills, and MKOI try to reconvene. But you get the push in mid, which sets up for Supa, and he's in a position to flash over the wall after.
Win a bit deep in the end. Alvaro, good angle here. Win becomes lightning, tags him out, but blue buff is just forfeit. And MKOI are taking everything now. Look at the leads that have just come out of nowhere. Sivir with 1,000. 2 kills picked up, and Supa really took that by himself. Second item is picked up, by the way, that Infinity Edge on the way, and you know, Caliste trailing a little bit behind. He's also going crack in this game instead of Yuntal, so it does feel like Caliste is going to take a while to come online, that extra little bit, whereas Supa will be saying in an item's time that guy's strong.
Yeah, I think it was off the back of the early reset that was needed from Caliste. He was like, all I can get is an early dagger, so I'll move up in towards the Kraken.
Yeah.
Still not a bad build, especially with the attack damage that you have off of Jinx, so I think you're relatively fine. The biggest issue is just lack of control for MKOI in the map. Supa's pushing power is so strong that you just can't contest. And look at where they get positioned on the map. You've got full control all across here, which is making it really difficult for Karmine Corp to be able to connect with that top side and keep it safe.
And they've still got Herald. Oh, it just pops it down now. Inner should be gone. Supa's able to step up a little bit as there's a bit of range onto Caliste, and now that Targamas is by his side, they feel confident. But look, the damage on the first charge is immense, and Herald's trying to be taken by Alvaro to get on out as Caliste. He does get excited for a little bit, thanks to the Herald dropping, but Alvaro is safe and sound once again. And look at Jojo just hovering around top Dagda. I mean, this guy is farming up a storm again. I
wouldn't be surprised to see him shift to the bottom side, and it's a rinse and repeat. You've already got you know, a good amount of control here. Is
Close.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you've got options as Rakan is about to come up in just a little bit of time. I'd prefer to see Jojo positioned around the Rakan as that one comes up and available. So I think MKOI push in waves, reset, get Jojo onto the bottom side, and then just do the exact same thing but mirrored, where you're putting all that pressure into getting vision on the bottom side, getting control around the Rakan, getting down the outer tower that still remains here for KC.
KC, this game was really swinging in their lead this early game. You know, that anti-steal was big. Yike now, though, the flash engage from Vladi. It's comboed up, and an easy kill. Trying to give it over to Vladi, but he's flicked back, so a shutdown goes to Yike instead.
KC feeling like they desperately needed the gold, but I think not having both Yike's and Vladi's flashes available for a potential Rakan or even that dragon in 2.5 minutes time may actually cause more issues. Unless it's just KC saying, we're going hands off, we don't care about Rakan, we're not going to contest this. We're just looking for a standing gold instead and trying to get some control back on the map, but that's not what bottom lane is doing.
No, it is not. MKOI, let's spin the wheel again. Yike and Alvaro meet. Grand entrance outwards as turret's going to go down for MKOI. I mean, they're just playing the map right now so much better, and like kind of yesterday, like the game one we saw from MKOI was eerily a little bit similar to what we saw from Giant X yesterday. And then game two, MKOI just managed to switch it on. And some of the team fighting has just kind of been a rendition of, again, what we saw yesterday when in games 2 and 3, they really started coordinating a lot better. Let's see, Dagda, I see a timer for 15 seconds for Rakan. Outside of that, Dragon in 1 minute 30. One apiece for MKOI and KC alike. A third Dragon will make 2.
Jojo's just flashed. I don't know if it's a fat finger or what happened there.
Observers, a picture-in-picture with the technology we have would be amazing when you get a chance.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but yeah, so there we go. I was going to say MKOI feel like they're a little hesitant to start this off.
Yep.
Maybe they're worried that if they go for the Rakan, it was going to cause issues, but once they saw that a lot of KC members were already positioned on that top side, they immediately fall back over to it. They're mistakenly see KC just not going to be in a position to contest this before it goes down, and the waves aren't in a position to go for any sort of cross map, making it essentially as free of an Rakan as you can.
It's a big objective, and the fact that you're not flipping for it is big. Rakan goes to MKOI, and the game looks cleaner and cleaner step by step. As you know, for now, again, it's just about how they move to the inner turrets, because that's the hard part, right? The range and the siege. It's kind of like mid-range. And Dagda, I feel like that's the biggest thing right now. Supa's going to add pressure, but stepping up to the turret is always a different matter. They've got inner turret down in mid, so it's all about an inhibitor turret, but those side lanes, that's something that MKOI is slowly working towards in loom of the Dragon spawning in 15.
No TP, as you say, in Jojo is going to be the major point, though. You'll have him pushing top. I still think they should reset and send Myrwn to that opposite side, but it looks like they're just going to try and two-man it. This is a little worrying, because there is always that opportunity where you do end up getting caught out in the jungle. But with Canna showing on bot wave, Vladi having no flash, I think this is kind of where MKOI are like, well, you don't really have a way to find the engagement.
Oh, Vladi luckily on the right side of the wall. Jojo would have flicked him and Alvaro would have followed up. But regardless for MKOI, it's not like that wall was for nothing. They get themselves a Dragon, second of their game. 3.5k, it keeps growing as Elyoya trying to steal the blue buff he came in for at level 2. Yike, the smite this time won't get it. It was 55 off, and Yike loses his blue. It's just more for Elyoya as the CS lead is growing in jungle too, plus the level lead is starting to rear its head.
Yeah, I like MKOI are doing a really good job of punishing those flashes that we talked about earlier. The fact that Yike and Vladi had no flashes means that it's really difficult for them to actually start any sort of fight without Canna. So once you see Canna on a wave, MKOI know they're relatively fine to do what they want. You're very easily able to escape as Supa. You got the speed up, Alvaro is fine. Trying to lock down MKOI when you don't have that ease of access with the Annie just makes things really tough.
No flash from Annie as well. That's always an issue, but Vladi has it now. Leandro's picked up. So, 2 items here on the Annie. Dagda, I'm just waiting for the big fight, because we've had a lot of skirmishes this game. We've had a lot of like picks, but we haven't got the fight that we deserve. Outside of that one moment where, I mean, that wasn't a fight. That was like, that was like a wave. I don't know what happened up at that topside brush, but that was like 2 events. rolled into one. But outside of that, yeah, not much fighting outside of much of just forcing picks.
Yeah, MKOI having the gold lead, though, means they will hit those third item breakpoints pretty quick and pretty much around the time that you want them to for the next objectives, which I think is where MKOI would just feel very strong. It's hard to contest as KC. You already kind of alluded to the problems with the Jinx. She is very far behind in comparison. Same when you look at the Annie in the mid lane, who still can do her job, essentially, but won't one-shot anyone realistically from this position. So things are getting easier.
Ulti. There's a pick-off, and Canna's just caught out. Yes, it's ulti, but where's he going to go? There's a wall in the way. Decimating Smash won't buy time for anything, and MKOI using the tools you wanted to see this game, and how easy was that?
Yeah, and it's going to continue to be his Vladi now in trouble.
Vladi will have a stun in a moment, but getting out first is the trick. Flashes over, won't have that for an engage, and like, this feels like role reversal. MKOI have come into game 2, starting to smack the boots.
It's a really good understanding of what tools KC need to find fights and find a way back into the game. And MKOI are just pushing that button every time, saying, use the flash, use the flash, get out of here. And making it tough for MKOI to gain access anywhere.
It's been so slow because MKOI have just been so controlled in growing this gold lead. 2,000 for Jojo. I mean, look at that guy. 262 CS at 24 minutes in the game. I'll raise you another. Supa's at 272 at 24 minutes. They raised the Poby mechanic, the Chovy mechanic, and said, watch this, hold my beer. I feel like, I mean, for Supa and Jojo,
there's a reason why Sivir owns the most CS ever in a game.
It is very easy. Look at that. Oh, enemy camp.
I didn't actually see it. It just disappeared too quick.
Yeah, that was a couple of autos. LDR on the way too, by the way. Meanwhile, Caliste, who started out this game great, is just trying to ramp up to maybe an Infinity Edge. I mean, I don't think he's definitely not going LDR third. But get a bit more excess damage so that if there is a fight and he gets a reset, at least he'll be able to pump through some of the numbers. Because for now, it definitely feels like it'd be super favored with those expensive items that he had so early on. But Dagda, Baron is now spawned. Dragon in a minute 30. Let's get the party started. I see 2 team fighting 80 carries, and I want to see some blood.
At the moment, though, MKOI feel like they're just trying to funnel a ton of gold into Supa as Alvaro in an awkward position.
He's birds of a feather, though. He'll be fine. He baits it out, sits in a brush. Yike is chasing. Vladi's there as well. He has no flash, though. Alvaro's just going to escape. And look, Jojo's like, don't worry, I have a wall. There we go. Turret's going to drop down with 1 grub. And there's the inner turret. I was questioning how it falls down. Just like that, as Baron's now spawning with top wave and not having as much reliability with that turret gone. Makes things a little bit harder to control Baron's side of the map.
MKOI trying to finish the push-ins of each of the waves, and then they'll be looking for the resets for the 2 objectives. You should have Supa's third item coming through. You've already got the third there for Jojo alongside the Zhonya's Hourglass halfway to completion. It's going to be a tough fight for KC. I think they need to have Vladi in a really strong spot where he can flank, get a multi-man ultimate off, and they immediately burst people out and get Caliste on the resets. Otherwise, I just don't see a way that they can bring this one back.
Mortal Reminder just picked up, by the way, and that makes it even harder to have that conversation about KC finding a fight, because that pickaxe is not an Infinity Edge for Caliste. Mortal Reminder, the healing cut that's going to come through. Things like Redemption as well, lacking a little bit of value, I guess. But more importantly, depending on what that 4th item is for Caliste, I'm going to ignore for now. Canna is just poked out a little bit. Good seismic shot. The burst hurt. Even into that tank. He has to flash over. KC is a unit. All 5 of them get over with a 4-man blast cone. And Supa, meanwhile, is just la la la. He's playing Despacito on Spotify. And he is just chilling.
And Jojo's about to do the same in the bottom. Actually, not going to do it in the bottom wave. Maybe looking for the wall here.
Supa, not a wave, not my problem. Boomerang blade in, Yike goes in, flash is burnt, Yike doesn't get anything with the ulti, and Myrwn's ulti gets into the backline, he starts shredding out, as finally we get our team fight, but for MKOI, it's a complete wipe. Supa just walked up, press W, change next song. Okay, game 3, I didn't even know.
The TP from Myrwn wants to try and look for the end here. Canna gonna have to desperately try and clear out these minions, but I don't know how much work he can do.
What can he do with a flick back his Supa to shred through? Next wave will help end the game. 20-second death timers, and health bars are a little bit too low, but KOI have this one in the bag.
MKOI gonna move over towards the Baron. Make sure they can pick that one up. TP to secure it from Alvaro as well. Dragon is still there, but Baron always going to be the name of the game in this position.
Super easy, and this will be taken mega quick. And you know, Caliste does have his ulti, so wait, hold, wait, Caliste ulti. Wait, Caliste, what's the value here? If he waits a little bit, Myrwn might die, but with an IE, no, there's no but. Myrwn, low as he may be, he'll be fine for now. That rocket never comes. And we look at the replay as to how this fight was just super.
Yeah, Yike tries to go for the engage, but Alvaro flash in immediately onto Caliste. They absolutely destroy the exhaust as well, thanks to the unsealed spellbook, and there's just nothing that you can do.
It really didn't even order that much. I just saw him W into the flash, I think, from Yike was to get back in the fight. And the ricochet blades hit a couple of times, boomerang blade hit once, and that wasn't even the pick of the fight. I just expected Sivir to do a lot, and I guess Supa did enough for me. KC still fighting in front of this dragon that was not taken. Weaver's wall is out as well, and on the wrong side of it, Caliste and Targamas with Tippers out. They try something. Caliste does get a reset. Canna is the trade-off, though. Both AD carries now free-firing as Caliste with an IE feeling a little bit more confident. But top laner for support, what do you prefer?
I'll take the support down.
I'll take the support down for 500.
Yeah.
Now, next question, Dagda. At 10,000 gold lead and soul point, to what can KC find to bring back in this game?
I don't think there's much. At this stage, you're about to lose your base. You've got Baron and 3. Oh, yeah.
Ulti. Vladi just going to get walked into. That was easy. Yike's now here. Myrwn thinks, hang on a minute, I've got energy. Let's find out what he can do with the sledgehammer down. He's going to be engaged on, but even with the passive, there's 3 people to commit. Myrwn's taking a while to die. Re-engage from Yike. He flashes. Now thinks about going back in. Myrwn takes one, takes another. And you know what? Let's go again. With Supa there, there's nothing we can't achieve. And even that's too bloody hard for KC this game.
They can't get anything. Myrwn dodging everywhere, getting the shield, and Supa shows up in the nick of time as well. MCOY, they have options, but there's only one left for KC, and it's to watch as your base goes down.
It's a flash engage to end this one. We're going to a game 3 in our match of the week. Both teams have put on a masterclass, but it's MCOY in game 2 that have once again arisen. It's becoming a trend so far in summer that the Spaniards like to play it slow but steady. Ladies and gentlemen, game 3 awaits in our match of the week between MCOY and KC right after this short break.